Hey guys, Average Character here with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Thank you so much for dropping by the channel. As always, really appreciate it. Hope your days are going well. Um, Mine has started out a little bit rough. I overslept by quite a lot this morning. It's weird now that I've got myself a new job and I don't really have to worry about this current job that I'm at anymore. And I never realized how stressed it made me. I was stressing over the promotion. I was stressing over like how little help we have, being like a two up, two down store, meaning that it's only you and one other person the entire day, and how much work I had to get done. I guess I didn't realize how stressed I was, and now that I'm just like over it, right? Because I've only got like 10 days left, seven, 8, 9, 10 days left, whatever it is. I'm like I've gotten to a point now where I'm super tired. Like I'm really tired. Like I go to work, I come home, and it's almost like my body has realized that it can now finally rest, and so I've been having this issue for the past couple, past week now where I've been like sleeping through my alarms. So I'm like sleeping deeper, I think, because I'm not as stressed as I was before. So anyway, I'm up now and I got the news. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying it's weird because now I'm like, I'm usually up at like, I don't know, 7 a.m. and I didn't wake up today until about 9 o'clock. So it's weird. I'm trying to, and now I just feel kind of like tired. So anyway, sorry. Ranted there for a little bit. I woke up this morning to the news about the He-Man and Skeletor collaboration. So Masters of the Universe is back. There's a pass for a paid pass for an elite pass for He-Man. Let me just look to see how much it is. So it's $40 for the elite pass or $60 to get him instantly. Now, I did actually, I don't know if I ever did a video on He-Man, but I actually got the elite pass instant access to He-Man when he was first released. And I would say that He-Man, the free version is pretty good. You get an avatar, which is always fun. You get some speed glyphs, 4-star chicken, some 6-star accessories for the Sacred Order. So there is some good stuff in there. But the big one for me is the feast at the end. 100 energy is good too. But the feast is a really good free reward in and of itself. But the bottom tier, you get some 6-star mythical instinct. You get a 5-star chicken right off the bat, some some superior potions, and then He-Man. So He-Man himself, I actually do think that if you're going to spend money in Raid, I actually think that $40 for a guaranteed champion, it's all subjective, right? Like for some people, they're like, that's absurd. $40 for some pixels on a screen is crazy. I agree to a certain extent. I just think that if you have the money to, have a hobby, and if if Raid is your hobby, and you want to spend a little bit of money to get a guaranteed champion, I actually think $40 is a bargain when you compare it to like hundreds of dollars being spent on, like if you really wanted Kaleth, right? You could spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars and not get him. So I to be fair, I understand why people are like, that's too much. Yeah, it's too much. But if you're looking for a guaranteed champion with a really big, hard hitting, some really big hard hitting abilities, I do think He-Man is worth the $40. I wouldn't say worth the $60 to get him instantly. Like, just play the game, you'll get him, and save yourself $20. But I do think he's worth it. I use him a lot. But the big part of this video today is going to be Skeletor. So Skeletor got a buff. I'm going to go over it. We'll talk about what they changed, and then I'll give my 2 cents on whether or not I think that he is worth building nowadays. And of course, again, it's all subjective. Now, I actually just recently did a grading all of my Spirit Affinity legendaries that I've maxed, which is all of them. I have all my legendaries maxed on my account, excluding books. I don't have them all booked, as you can see here. Skeletor is not. And he was an F. I gave Skeletor an F. I thought he was a trash champion, a trash-free champion, even though he looks really cool. So they went ahead and they gave him a buff because they're doing a recollaboration. And on the A1 here, so Havoc Scythe, we've got a 2-time hitter with each hit having a 75, books up to 100% chance of increasing the duration of 2 random buffs. So it was just 1 random buff. Now it's 2 by 1 turn. And then each hit also has 75, books up to 100% chance of decreasing the duration of 2 random buffs on the target by 1 turn. Sorry. So now we've got increased duration of debuffs, decreased duration of buffs, and they increase the amount that you're doing. So a solid buff for the A1. I'm actually a really big fan of this. And the fact that it books up to a 100% chance, I think for Chimera is excellent. I think for what am I thinking? Sorry, for traditional clan boss, very, very good. Maybe not so for Hydra because it's a single target, but I do think that you could use him in Hydra with that ability. So on the A2 here, we've got Skull Comet. This is a single target attack that has a 75, books up to 100% chance of placing Petrification for 1 turn. So that's a buff strip and Petrification. And then he also has a 100% chance of placing Drop Attack and Drop Speed for 2 turns. Now, let me look real quick to make sure I don't misspeak here. So this used to be a conditional if the target is a boss places Drop Attack and Drop Speed. They took that out entirely. And then they also took out whenever Petrification is removed or expired, has a 50% chance of placing a Drop Speed for 1 turn. So now you're getting Petrification for 1 turn and Drop Attack and Drop Speed for 2 turns. So you're getting the Drop Attack and Drop Speed against everyone, including bosses, but the Petrification is going to be obviously not viable for bosses. Now, I would, if I could have one critique of this, it would say I would love to see the single target Petrification and then an AoE Drop Attack and Drop Speed. I think that would be really cool. I don't think it would be, game breaking, and it would give him some viability in with some AoE debuffs as well on the A2 ability. But overall, I do like the changes. I think it's a more solid ability than it used to be. On the A3, Begone Fools, increase accuracy on all allies for 2 turns. 100 books up to 100% chance of stealing any block debuffs and 2 random buffs from each enemy. So this is, again, they increase the amount of buffs that are being stolen from 1 to 2, okay, and block debuffs. So potentially a 3 buff steal. Sorry, lost my train of thought. And then he has the drops the turn meter of all enemies by 15% or 30% if the enemy is from the Tolarian League, and that is the same as it was before. So they just increased the amount of buffs that you're stealing. Now, on the passive, we've got whenever this champion attempts, this is Master of Evil, whenever this champion attempts to place a debuff, steal a buff, or drop an enemy's turn meter, decreases the duration of a buff on an enemy, or increase the duration of a debuff on an enemy, increases this champion's accuracy by 20 for each buff on that enemy. So they added in the decreased duration of a buff. So they added in the decreased duration of a buff on the A1, so they added that into the passive as well. And then on this ability, whenever this champion is hit, has a 50, so they increased this from 50 to 40. From 40 to 50, sorry. So a 50% chance to place a decreased resistance for 1 turn, or 100% if they're from the Tolarian League. And then if he loses 30%, so this is all new. If he loses 30% or more HP from this attack, also has a 25% chance to place a Petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. The chance increases to 50% from the Tolarian League. He's still got the accuracy in all battles by 60. They didn't do anything about that. Sorry, I was looking at Ash's video because I couldn't find the actual, what do you call those things? I don't know. The actual, sheet that showed the changes they made. So all in all, I think a good buff. I don't think it's enough. I'm going to be totally real with you. For my account, it's not enough to make this guy worth booking. The reviews are still pretty bad on him. Better, but still pretty bad. I mean, look, I think if you need a clan boss, like a traditional clan boss champion, I don't think you even need to book him. I think just put him in Relentless or Reflex and then shut off the A3 and have all of the Reflex go into this ability. and you'll have it on a 75% chance. That's pretty reliable. You can put him in sniper if you get his masteries. I wouldn't recommend the masteries though. So for me, still not worth it. He's still going to sit in the vault. I think the only reason I would ever max this guy would be possibly for Chimera. So if we go into Chimera and we look at the trials, let me just see here, because I've seen people. Yeah, so here we go. So increase accuracy is one that he could do. Let me see. No, not block, not increase defense, shield. No, not that, not that. So he does bring the decreased speed for this mythical one. Nope, no leech. Here we go. Place 10 debuffs. One of the debuffs must be a decreased resistance, so he can get you a 3-star soul, which also unlocks the 8 legendary there. No block active skills, none of that, none of that, none of that, none of that, none of that. He does bring decreased attack. Yeah, so I mean, even then, it's like he does unlock some of these. Like he unlocks, where is it? He can help you unlock the 6 mythical one, but there are champions with decreased speed that it doesn't have to be Skeletor. So unfortunately, I do think that, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. So I think the big one here is this, right? So on is this the Ram? Yeah, the Ram form. He's placing the increased accuracy, but then he can also place the drop speed, drop resistance, and drop attack all on one ability, so he can get you 3 of the 7 debuffs that you need to unlock then the 2 mythical ones. So he can potentially get you a pathway to unlocking 9 mythical relic pieces, which is good. I mean, that in and of itself is really good, but I also don't think that you need to book him for that. You can just rerun Chimera until you get it on the 75% land rate, and then you're good. So, I guess if you want to circumvent the RNG, you could book him, but booking him for that one purpose, I just don't see it, man. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this guy, and let me know where you guys use him, because I just don't see any like the buff stealing is good. And this is why I say on my account, like the buff stealing is good, but I have Gamaran. And Gamaran, let me pull him up. I think he's a support champion. Gamaran has, on a 3-turn cooldown, a 100% chance of stealing all buffs from all enemies and then doing a buff spread on all allies. So for me, it's like, I got Gamaran. I don't need this ability. Don't need that. The drop turn meter, don't need that. I've got crowd control out the wazoo on my account. So I want to be fair and say that for a free champion, I think if you're progressing through the game, or if you just need some of these abilities, I think he could be good. But I also think that 13 books, let me see, so 4, 8, 13 books to book this guy is a lot. Legendary skill tomes are not easy to get if you're not willing to spend money on them. You can get a couple out of, I guess if you're lucky, you can maybe get, a couple a week out of Clan Boss if you can do it at the hardest difficulty. But anyway, I don't want to ramble too long about this guy. One other thing I'll mention is that I'm actually really glad that they're letting everyone do the Skeletor pass again. So I'll get a duplicate Skeletor now, and I'll also get the duplicate 5-star soul, which means that I'm probably not going to build a second Skeletor. So, I'll keep all of these on my account. I don't think they're going to buff him again after this. I think this is it. I think this is what they're doing. So for me, it's like, well, I could potentially sell a 2, 3, 4, and 5-star soul, but I'll also be able to, because I don't have my faction guardians done. I've got a couple that are close, but I've also got some that don't have any. But I will be able to, where's Knight's Revenant? Sorry. I'll be able to go up to the 3rd one. So I'll get some resistance and accuracy out of this duplicate Skeletor. So for me, that's actually the biggest win, is the resist and the accuracy. I've got a lot of poisoners and I've got a lot of debuffers for my Knight's Revenant. And so that's actually, for me, the biggest value that I'm getting out of this Skeletor event and buff. So Last thing I'll mention is where, if you're going to use him, where could you get the most value out of him? Well, I already spoke about Chimera and Clan Boss, but if you're going to use this guy in Arena, I actually do think that he does have some value in Arena as a sort of soft counter. Not now, I don't want to say a soft counter, but he does go up, have some value against the Tolarian League champions. And so I wanted to quickly go through Tolarian League and talk about who they are and who are some of the big heavy hitters in the Tolarian League as far as PvP goes. So we got Bannerlords, High Elves, Sacred Order, and Barbarians. So starting in Bannerlords with the Mythicals, both Joan and Androck I do see in Arena. More so Joan than Androck, but I do see both of them in Arena from every now and then. And Joan is a very hard hitting champion. So you have a 50% chance of placing Petrification when she takes away 30% or more of his HP. So as far as damage dealers go, we've got champions like Rhonda. Rhonda, I still see in Arena every now and then because of that irresistible block passive and block active on her inner kit. Edward is an excellent PvP champion. Hard hitting abilities. He's got a block revive, ignoring a ton of mechanics, dropping turn meter, so on and so forth. So Edward, another really good one here. But the big ones for me are Raglan. Raglan is a super meta champion right now in 9-piece Mercurial. And then you've also got Taurus and Marichka, right? These two champions are still exceptional in PvP. Taurus with the hard-hitting AoE on the A1, the A2, and the A3. I did that backwards. I apologize. Marichka with the full cleanse, massive turn meter fill, massive heals. She's got fully restores. She's got shield strengthened. It's all kind of busted, right? So some good, even Cecilia is a massive, she's got AoE, counterattack, and strengthen. So steal those away from her, potentially is really good. So, and Bannerlord, some really good champions here. High Elves, we've got Galathier and Sabriel. Both of those are meta champions in PvP right now. But on top of that, you've got Fina. You've got, she's got a bunch of buffs in her kit. Maybe Lysandra, maybe Arbiter are a couple really good ones. And then the big one that I noticed was Solinar. So Solinar is just disgusting in PvP. I hate going up against him. He's so scary and so dangerous. So he's got a whole bunch going on. He's stealing all buffs, turn meter, if they're not under a stone skin. Can't be resisted. Always critical if Noldua is on the same team. This guy's got a bunch going on in his kit, so potentially a way to control him a little bit with the petrification, possibly. Sacred Order, Siegfried, big, hard-hitting ability that can wipe your entire team. You've also got He-Man, funny enough, so he can counter He-Man a little bit. We've got Alice, was a good free champion. I don't know if anyone has High Mother Mod yet. Artor, Ezio, but the big one that I noticed out of these was Sir Nick, who's got Unkillable, Continuous Heal, Counterattack, and Taunt on himself. And then Lady Noelle, who's got the AoE Revive with the Freeze. Can't be resisted if Sir Nick is on the same team. She's got a Sheep Removal, heals, all sorts of different stuff, increased speed, and then she's got block buffs. And drop turn meter if they have freeze. So a lot of really good champions in these factions. You've got Arn and Alaz. Alaz has provoke, counterattack, and block damage. So you can steal some of those away. You've got Thor, you've got Armands, you've got Valkyrie, you've got Freya, you've got Gregor, you've got Xena. You've got Odin, you've got Bayek, you've got especially Bayek because he has that passive where if you have less accuracy than the enemy team, you can't place is it critical hits? Yeah, can't receive critical hits if you have if they have lower accuracy. So the increased accuracy, good against Bayek. Loki, a lot of really good barbarians that he can assist you with. So I think that even though I probably wouldn't recommend using him as like a mainstay like PvP champion, if you're struggling with those kinds of champions, because he has the 30% turn meter drop against those leagues, those factions, I do think this becomes a stronger ability. And then the passive as well, having a 100% chance to place drop resistance, a 50% chance to place petrification. Now, I do think, me personally, again, the conditional, if he loses 30% or more of his HP, I want to go to, I'm just rambling at this point. I apologize. The passive here. So we have Pelops, who has a 50% chance of placing a petrification just anytime he's attacked, right? So I do think that, I understand he's a free champion, but why not just make it a smaller version that's unconditional? So why not, or why not just have it be, well, I guess it's hard to make it smaller than that, to be fair. You could do 15% and then up to 30%, but then that's a really small chance. So yeah, I don't know, man. I do think that I like that they gave it an effort. They gave it the old college try, but I just don't think that Skeletor is going to. I don't think he's going to be doing much on my account, man. I really don't. I think that I would have liked an AoE ability on this as a debuffer. Maybe not AoE petrification, but AoE drop attack and drop speed would have been really cool. I like the A1, to be fair. I really like the A1. I think it's a strong A1 ability. And I do think that the A3 is a lot better, but he just doesn't have, from my account, he just doesn't have that, that one thing that's going to put him into viability for a lot of my teams. And that's just a consequence, I think, of me spending a lot of money in this game. So, but to be fair, I think that if you are not like me, if you're smarter than me and you just haven't spent a lot of money on this game, I do think he's a lot more serviceable than he used to be. I think it's just from my account. I just don't think I'm going to be able to use him. It's a shame. He's a cool looking champion. I love Skeletor. I love He-Man. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this champion. I'm sorry. I'm still a little bit foggy brained. Like I said, the past week has been really weird since I put in my notice at my current job. I feel different. I didn't realize a job could have this effect on you. And it's been really eye-opening for me. So thank you guys so much for dropping by the channel. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.